All right. So last week, we talked about how important it is to track every day and to notice how you're feeling as you're tracking. And the reason why I want you to take notice of how you're feeling as you track is that a lot of emotions can come up as you're tracking. Now, on one hand, tracking can be just a wonderful thing that keeps your eyes focused on abundance rather than what you don't have. It keeps you focused on what you do have. Now, the thing is, sometimes what happens as you track, or sometimes you won't even track because you're thinking, oh, nothing's going to happen today, or nothing's come in yesterday. And it might be even a painful thing for you to look at the day and going, oh, no money's come in today, or nothing's changed today. And then tracking then becomes a negative experience rather than a positive one. So what I want you to do with that is to every day write something down. I don't care what it is. Something that you are grateful for. It's a piece of abundance. It's amazing how many things fall through the cracks. And so right now I'm just going to open up the lines and I want you to tell me if you have been tracking, and if you haven't been tracking, what do you think is standing in your way? Okay, and then we'll just, don't try to make excuses. This is not about you trying to justify yourself. And well, I didn't track because, my dog ate my homework. Finding excuses for things isn't going to help you. So just take ownership and say, I didn't get around to it, or I didn't want to do it, or I kept forgetting to do it. But I want to do different. I want to do better with this. All right. So I'm going to open up the lines right now. Hang on a second. And okay, so raise your hand. Who would like to tell me how their trekking experience is going?
I will.
Okay, go ahead. Natalie?
Yeah, originally when I first met you at the event that we were at, I tracked like the next day and received a check in the mail the day I got home and a couple other things, and then I stopped. So I haven't done it again. So okay. I am going to be doing that again.
Okay, thanks for your honesty. And was it just a reason that you just forgot to do it, or was there something else behind it?
I just didn't do it.
Okay.
Not that I forgot. It's not a habit that I have.
Excellent point.
Yeah.
Excellent point. It really is a new habit we're talking about here. So it's really easy to forget about it and just like, oh my gosh, I just didn't do it, So we're really trying to commit to creating a new habit and to know what's the best day for you, or what's time of day for you to do it.
I hope you take cards.
Okay?
Good.
All right.
Okay, this is Lisa.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi. I tracked for 3 days, and then I put the paperwork someplace I didn't see it anymore. So that's why I didn't do it anymore.
Okay, so how can you fix that?
Where do I send it?
Put it on a clipboard and put it someplace where I'll see it.
Okay. Put it on the clipboard. Now, some people have, hang on a second. I'm going to unmute you unless you're talking, okay? Because there's some background noise and it's a little hard to hear. Amen. There we go. So, Lisa, some people have put it on their refrigerator, like with a magnet.
Okay.
Okay. Some people have put, I keep it in my journal because I take out my journal every day, and it just fits nicely when I do my journaling time to write about it. Now, a lot of times I write about my journal during the day, in the beginning of the day, and I might forget the day before. So keeping it out, and then I have to remember, gee, what happened yesterday that I can be grateful for, that came in, that kind of thing. So whatever works best for you at the time of day that works best for you, but keeping it as handy as possible is always the best way. Okay. Anybody else have an experience with this to share? Raise your hand so I can see you. Okay, Carol. Hang on. There you go, Carol.
I've been tracking since I initially met you at Craig's function.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Tracking every day. And it's amazing what a shift I've had in perception about concentrating on what I do have instead of what I don't have.
And so how's it shift? Describe that for us.
Anything that was not top of mind monetary, I did not include into my gratitude list.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
However, I found that so many things were coming into play for me
Mm-hmm.
that were not necessarily monetary, but in actuality converted into somebody giving me, their time or something that is definitely something that, unless I was being very conscious about it, could have appreciated in the same way had I not been tracking it.
Absolutely. It's so easy because we do live in pretty much a negative world where lots of things are all about what you don't have rather than what you do have, you know? And really, even in our commerce, you know, the way that every advertising is all about what you don't have so that they can fill the need and sell you something, you know? So we're just bombarded with it. And it really does take a conscious effort to focus in on all that we do have. And then we can build from that place. It's not like we have to stay complacent, but gratitude invites more abundance. Just does. Thank you, Carol. Okay, so let's go on here. Has anybody journaled or asked God to enlighten their heart and journaled about their money stories? What kind of stories you may have grown up with? And we're going to talk a lot more about this today. I have a lot of money beliefs that we're going to examine and to see how many of them resonate with you. And then remember, I did some of the tapping exercise before. The tapping where we are tapping on our bodies to release negative fears and opinions and then reset. So we're going to do more of that today also, okay? But what came to mind? Anybody have something to share about what came to mind? If you want to, let me unmute you again, and you guys can. Okay, who has something they'd like to share about a money story that came up for them? And I'm really talking about money stories that are not serving us well. They might be keeping us broke. They might be keeping us from the next ceiling, the next level.
Well, I grew up in a family of four.
Who's this?
Lisa, yeah.
Okay.
4 kids, excuse me,
Okay.
family of 6. I was born in 54, so through the 60s. And we lived in a town called Saratoga, which grew up in the Bay Area to be a very wealthy town. And my dad was an engineer, and we were probably the poorest family in the neighborhood. Mm. And so my
Saratoga, New York?
California. It's by Los Gatos, San Jose.
Okay, gotcha.
Silicon Valley is what it is now. Mm-hmm. Santa Clara and all that. So, so my mom so there's 3 girls in the family. My mom made all of our clothes. And so we would go to school with dresses that looked the same, except they might be a different color. Mm-hmm. And my best friend's father was a doctor. And so I kind of grew up being embarrassed about that. Mm-hmm. And we were always going to drive-ins and smorgasbords because they couldn't afford anything else with the number of kids that we had. So definitely a feeling of scarcity through my childhood.
Did you hear we can't afford it often?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. So over the years, have you been aware of that, and have you made decisions to do something about those thoughts? Have you been trying to overcome them, or what have you done in reaction to that?
Well, when my husband
just basically adopted it and kind of been.
I am probably have adopted it because I don't like spending money.
Okay.
And although my husband and I, when we were both working, we had really good jobs. I mean, we made a lot of money, but I still was frugal. I was still pretty tight with money.
And do you look at that as a negative?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Only when it conflicts with somebody else in the family, which would be my husband, who likes to spend money.
Okay. So you and your husband might have different opinions about what to do about money.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Well, and as we know, that can be the source of a lot of friction in marriages, right?
Yes.
So there's no value on whether you like to spend money or you don't like to spend money, except as it hits, like you say, conflicts with one another. But the question I have for you is that do you feel guilty if you do spend money?
Yes.
Okay. And does it feel like there are times that you would like to spend more money, but you don't allow yourself?
Yes.
Okay.
And then there are times that I spend money and I wish I hadn't.
Right. You feel regretful and kind of remorseful, like kicking yourself in the butt. Why did I do that?
Right. Exactly.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like this constant feeling of you're not really feeling the sense of freedom, is it?
Correct. Right.
Okay. Okay. And we're not going to really talk about like solutions because I want to go through, and I'm gathering this for when we do tapping, because really what you want to do is you want to have your own value system about it, but you want to feel good about it. You want to feel free, right? And you don't want the restriction to resist any abundance from coming to you, do you?
Right.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you, Lisa.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anybody else have Susan? Hang on a second. I'm unmuting you. There you go.
So I actually grew up the oldest of 6 children. And my mother had a financial system. My dad would bring home his paycheck or bring home the money. And she had these little tin boxes, and she had little boxes that had all of the different things that she spent money on. She had grocery money, and she had payment money and money for different stuff.
It's kind of similar to an envelope system in a way.
Yeah, but there were little tin boxes.
Cute little tin boxes. Okay.
And we got allowances.
Uh-huh.
And the other thing, and you may have heard me say this sometime in my past, because I have talked about it, but I was an honor student, and I was taking all these college prep classes when I was in high school, and I wanted to be an engineer. And my intention was to go to college, and I was going to be an engineer. Well, they wouldn't let me be an engineer because I was a girl. But the other thing was that when it came time to fill out the financial papers for going to college, my dad said, well, there's no money for you to go to college. There's money for the boys to go to college, but not for you. And they had bought insurance policies on us, $1,000 policies for the girls and $10,000 policies for the boys, which doubled, which meant that the girls had $2,000 to get married and the boys had $20,000 to go to school, which made me really mad.
Right.
But what I did was I took my $2,000 and went to nursing school and paid for the whole thing. So it's like I love to spend money.
So let me ask you this. Okay, given your past, and I know you've done a lot of work around your money issues and money challenges. I know you've done that. But is there any area in your life regarding money where you still feel guilty or embarrassed or regretful or anything like that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I feel embarrassed because, hold on, I gotta say no. I feel embarrassed about some of the decisions I made on how to invest money and choices I made about things to do with money. I, inherited some money a few years ago. Not a huge amount of money, but, it was a significant amount. And I haven't gotten the return I expected to get on any of those investments. And
Okay.
so I'm embarrassed about it. It's like I should have known better.
There's the word, isn't it? The phrase, I should have known better. And I think that's how a lot of us feel at different times, you know, making choices and thinking that we're trying to be wise, thinking that we're trying to invest in ourselves, in programs, in real estate, in whatever it is to better ourselves. And then it doesn't happen as we hope. And then guilt and shame enter, you
Right.
know? Yeah. Okay, good. Thank you, Susan. Appreciate that. I think that's very common, you know, very common. Anybody else have anything else that they want to add? I'll take one more. One more person have something to say about, you know, a money story or something, how they feel guilty or embarrassed or about money. I can't see everybody. Hi, Charlotte.
Hi there.
Let's see. Jasmine, Dee, or Carol, do you guys have anything to say about that?
Not at this time.
Okay. Is that Jasmine? Okay. All right. All right, let's go on. And now I want to just like, did you have a chance to really look and think about some of the amazing blessings or miracles that have happened in your life? And because it's not, you know, just to think about the things we feel bad about isn't helping us. To go back, somebody have a blessing. It could be a financial blessing. That would be cool. When have you had a financial blessing? How about you, Charlotte?
I'm doing good. I'm sorry I've missed you a couple times.
Yeah. Actually, you were in the other class, but I'm glad you made this one because you missed the last one. So, Charlotte, tell us, have you ever had a financial blessing, a windfall, something that was unexpected?
Have them frequently.
Tell us. Give us an example.
Well, what happens is that I need some money for an issue. It doesn't make any difference what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I just say, okay, Lord, this is what I need. And within a couple weeks' time, it's in my hand.
So this has been a frequent occurrence for you?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's cool. I mean, a lot of times it happens for people, but we think it's a fluke, you know?
Nope.
It's like something that I can't really depend and rely on, right? And, just reading the chat here. Yeah, so I think what we want to do is, and like with Charlotte, get to the point where we start thinking, you know, God wants to bless us. He wants us to have abundance. He wants money to fall into our hands, opportunities to fall in our hands. If we can have the idea that God and the universe and the way things are created are set up for our benefit, that really the only reason why we don't have it is because there is some block, there's some resistance. That's the only reason. There's some block, some resistance. Maybe we don't think we have a skill. There's a lot of women that are extremely skilled and very gifted in what they do, but they hold back. They don't necessarily think they are. And so they hold back, or they think, who am I? Who am I to want this? Who am I to do this? Right? So we have some of that going on too. All right, well, today I want to do some clearing away of some of this, but let's just do a little quick review, all right? If I can get the screen to move, we'll be happy. I'll be happy. All right, last week we talked about the single thing that affects, and let me see if I can get rid of this here. We have to do it like that. The single thing that affects the flow of abundance into your life and how hard you work, how much ease or struggle you experience. What's the single thing? And let's see, put it in the chat if you can remember what that single thing is. Somebody has the answer. You remember what it is? The one thing that affects the flow of your hard work, I mean, it affects the flow of abundance in your life, how hard you work. Nobody?
I'm
All right.
writing.
What's that?
I said I'm writing.
You're writing.
You want us to put it in the chat, correct?
Okay, yes.
How do you do that?
Okay, just say it then, if you know what the answer is. Because
Well,
I have
my-
the unmute off, so go ahead.
My problem is that I allow people around me who have negative ideas about money.
Who's speaking?
Charlotte.
Charlotte. Hi, Charlotte. Okay. Yes, but last week we talked about the one thing, and let's see if anybody remembers what it is. Remembering to work hard and not necessarily hard for your good, or we've got limiting beliefs. All right, what's the single thing that affects? Yes, it is limiting beliefs, but what causes limiting beliefs is really the basis of it. And actually what happens is it manifests into your vibration. So remember we talked about how it's your vibration, what you're putting out there is the single thing that affects how much abundance comes in, how hard you have to work, how you have to struggle. It's your vibration. Now your vibration, like you guys said, your vibration actually comes from your belief system, doesn't it? So that's why we're going to tackle belief systems today. The higher your vibrational energy, the more abundance and that which you truly desire flow into your life and your business. And the converse is true. And then we saw this slide here, this really cool slide that shows you low contracted energy is down at the guilt and shame area, fear, all of that. And when you're in a state of peace, love, joy, gratitude, all of that is an expanded. But your belief systems are what cause this vibrational output, right? So that's why the primary goal of this coaching program is to help you feel better about you, about money, and even about God. Because as I've mentioned to you guys before, you may not believe in a personal God like I do. You may believe in God being energy, source energy. It could be the universe. But if you feel like God or any component or representation of God doesn't like you, doesn't care about you, isn't working on your behalf, isn't supporting you, but in fact has something against you, and that can come from a religious background. People could have said, I have to tell you this. I have one of my clients is a very successful woman, Ivy League education, very bright and creative, but she was in a church when she was a kid. And as a kid, she was actually molested by a senior member, a woman senior member in her church. And that woman wouldn't stop abusing this girl. And so when this girl went to the leadership to tell them what was going on because she wanted her to stop and she reported her, they called this little girl a liar. And they made this little girl stand up in the front of the church for a whole year, telling her that she was going to be a whore, that God hated her, that she was no good. And she had to stand at the front of the church and get the silent treatment. Horrific background regarding God. And now she doesn't know any better. Church and God in her mind are the same thing. So she carried with her throughout her life, no matter what her obstacles she's overcome, no matter what her achievements, and she kept this thing inside of her that God hates me, that God hates me. And eventually she tried committing suicide. Now, she died and then she rose again. I mean, she lived, she came back to life. And after that, she had made peace. She made peace with God, and there was a whole story behind that. It's just fascinating. But since that day, she realized that God is not mad at her and that he is for her, but that was a huge wound that had to be healed in order for her to go on and live a joyful, peaceful life. So I say that because I'm not trying to say you have to have a certain kind of faith in God. But if you have the idea and perception of God as God being against you or neutral or not caring about you, then you are trying to achieve your dreams by swimming upstream. It's very, very hard if you can do it at all right? So learning to raise your vibration is your most important skill. Now, where God comes into that for me is that I have I consider very lovely, energetic, vibrant, favorable relationship with God. I've done a lot of work on this because I didn't always have that. So when I spend time with God, I feel so loved, I feel empowered, I feel supported, and all of that raises my vibration. Now, there's other ways to raise your vibration too, isn't there? There's a lot of different ways to raise your vibration. And so mainly get back to love. Somehow or another, you got to get to love. And that's love for yourself. You go and get pedicures or massage or, exercise. Love on yourself. Extend love in the world. Love what you do. There's some way you have to get back to love, get out of fear, and that is by working on your belief system, staying in a positive attitude, visualizing. We talked a lot about those things. Staying in love. Staying in love. That's part of what tracking is about, to help you stay elevated and in love. Okay? This is just all review for you guys. And one last piece of review before I actually get into some coaching. Let me just check something out here. Okay. Remember what I said is that your beliefs determine your results. And we did something backward. We started with our results. What do we want to achieve? What are our dreams? What are our financial goals? And let me tell you something about financial goals. Financial goals are very hard for a lot of people because they don't like the idea that they might not reach it and then they'll get disappointed. And I want to talk about that a little bit more with you in a minute, okay? So in order to reach your financial goals, you have to take certain actions. And a lot of times we don't take the actions. We procrastinate, we avoid, because how we feel about those actions is that our actions are, they're too hard. Or maybe we feel like we make those phone calls, we're going to get rejected. Or we do that work, or we put ourselves out there and nobody's going to care. So our feelings, how we feel, that's our energy. Those are our vibrations. That's going to affect our actions, which will then affect our results. But our feelings really come from the thoughts we think. Our feelings are triggered by our thoughts. And most of our thoughts are subconscious. We're not even aware of them. And then those thoughts really come from our core beliefs. And that's our programming. A lot of our programming that's been reinforced over the years. And so if we try to change our financial goals, but we haven't changed our beliefs, then chances are we're not going to have a very easy time of doing that. Okay? Let me open it up for, before I continue, hang on one second. I want to get back to you guys. All right. So anybody have any questions about that before we go a little deeper into money beliefs, specific money beliefs? Okay. And there is, I think, a little thing that you can raise your hand here. If you click on a button, you can raise your hand. All right. Everybody's good? Nobody's got a question? All right, I'm moving on. Okay, so your beliefs can bring you up or they can take you down. That's just how it is. And your beliefs about money will dictate what you do and what you don't do. And we're going to talk more about that. So what do you believe about your money? You have beliefs about the world that affect your money and beliefs about you that affect your money, okay? And when I say affect your money, affect how much money actually comes in, how you feel about money, whether you feel guilty about money, whether you feel ashamed, whether you feel scared. Your beliefs about the world affect your money and beliefs about you affect your money. And they're two separate things. So I want to explore with you some beliefs that people have. And when you read these, I want you to see if there's anything here or does it stir up anything. And then write it in the chat if you have any of these beliefs or it triggers a different belief, okay? These are common. And this is beliefs about the world. Nobody can get ahead in this world. That's a belief. Nobody makes money doing what I do or in my profession. I'm going to tell you that that was one of mine, all right? When I first started this whole career in coaching and speaking, and I had been coaching for 20 years for no pay, I believed I couldn't make any money doing what I do. And I actually had somebody say to me, Marianne, you need to do a hard skill. You need to either go back to law, be a lawyer, or go back to finances and be a financial advisor. Do something like that because you can't make any money doing what you're doing. 10 years ago, I was told that. And guess what? I believed them. So for a few years, I bowed out. I didn't even try pursuing this. But God had other plans for me and paved the way. And I love doing what I'm doing. And I can make a six-figure income doing what I love. So that lady was wrong. But I believe that. Rich people have no souls. Or you can't be rich and spiritual at the same time. Now, logically, as I'm saying these things, you people are smart enough to know that these things are not true. But I want you to say, how does it feel in my body when she's saying these things? Is there any part of me that may still believe this? How about this one? You're a better person if you work hard. Okay? So if you find a way to make money more easily, it's desirable, but it's also wrong in your mind. Now, this is a problem, and I say this here. So if you're working 8 to 10 hours a day in your business and only making 30% of what you want to make, then in your mind, your subconscious is saying that it means you got to work 3 times that to make the amount of money you want to make. To make 90% of what you want to make, you got to work 3 times. Well, if you're working 8 to 10 hours, that's impossible because that means you're working 24 to 30 hours a day. And we know there is no 30 hours in a day. All right. So it's impossible. Money corrupts the soul. Money doesn't grow on trees. You need to have a good education to make money. These are all beliefs in the world that you may have. So if you have something else besides these that relate to the world, not with you personally, not necessarily, though you have adopted this, write it in the chat. Okay, this is a really good one. Carol says, I think there might be limitations since I am over 65. Yet the biggest job I ever got was when I was 57 years old. So this is a good belief. Like the older I get, the smaller my chances. All right, the older I get, the smaller my chances. And that's especially what you think when you turn 50, and then it can get even worse when you turn 60. When I first started looking to get back into the workforce, I had been out of work 20 years because I was homeschooling my kids. And by homeschooling my kids, I'd taken myself, I wasn't doing any of those, I didn't have those marketable skills. But I still knew about finances. I still helped people with finances. I was kind of a cash flow type of expert in the churches in the community. But when I went to apply for a job at a bank, they didn't even give me the time of day, all right, because I didn't have any real experience. So it formed the belief. But I think I already had the belief that I don't have marketable skills, and I just created that scenario for myself. All right. So anybody else have any other limitations, any other, and Carol, yours is really more about you personally than the world, except to say that people don't hire or people don't want to work with people who are over 65. That could be a worldview. All right. And the truth is people do tend to be more, prejudiced against older people, you know? especially in LA. That's true. Right? Anybody else have anything more to say about that? Okay, so right now, you don't even have to write it down in the chat, but I want you to write down any beliefs that you might have regarding a world view about money as it relates to what you can make, what you can't make, how hard it is for you or not. Okay, write those down for yourself. Susan, do you have a worldview, a world belief, a belief about the world that might make it difficult for you to make more money?
I wrote it.
What is that?
That money doesn't flow to women as easily as it flows to men.
Oh, that's a good one. Let me write that one down. Money doesn't flow as easily to women as it does to men.
And it flows upstream against the current.
Mm-hmm.
And for me personally, it's like people always make more money when I leave.
Okay, we'll save that one. That's an interesting one. Money doesn't flow. I'm still on the women.
To women as easily as it does to men.
Okay. All right, good. Anybody else have any other money? How about you, Natalie? Hang on a second. Let me unmute you.
I got it.
Go ahead.
I got it. I'm just kind of in that education, you know, not having a college education position, but I'm also self-employed. So
Is there anything then about people being rich or anything about the world or about how the world, any limitations out there that maybe you grew up with that says, not about you personally, but it's about how you view the world and money coming to you from that aspect?
Yeah, when I was growing up, my parents, and they still have a negative view on wealthy people, thinking that they don't, you know, they are privileged or don't deserve it. If you're wealthy, you don't deserve it, right?
And maybe you even made it in kind of a shady way.
Yeah, or they're selfish and they don't share.
Okay.
You know, I've heard those things when I was growing up. I've been working a lot on this in my own personal life in the last year, so I've kind of eliminated some of those blocks myself.
Okay, good. Well, we're probably going to tap through some of that anyway, because if there's any residue inside of you, then that will help too, okay? All right, Charlotte, hang on a second. Let me get to Charlotte.
Hi there. You have to have money to make money.
Okay, good one.
And Marianne, I just wrote, rich people have secrets that the rest of us don't know.
Oh, really good one. Okay. Like they've got golden keys and you didn't get one.
Inside information.
Inside information. And you know, there's so many articles and books like our Millionaire Secrets that the poor don't know, or things like that, right? Rich people have secrets, inside information. Very good. You have to make money, have money to make money. Anyone else? These are good. You guys are good. Okay. All right. Okay. Let me just check the chat here. See if there's anything I'm missing. Rich people are always those other people. Good. You're not in the club, are you? And maybe you don't even want to be those other people. Okay. All right. Let's look at some money beliefs that have to do with you personally. All right? So see which of these resonate with you. I already got a couple of them from some of you, so let's look at some other ones. I'm not good enough, smart enough, pretty enough, young enough, clever enough, hard enough. Now, for some women, you know, like somehow or another, we got to be harder, you know, or lucky enough to be financially successful. Is there any, I'm not something enough? Write that down. If there's something you're not enough of, and somehow that disqualifies you in some way. Okay, write that down. One of the things that Carol was talking about was young enough, all right? That you got to be younger in order for you to make the kind of money you want to make. Our opportunities are slipping by. Okay. Carol says, not smart enough because of perceived internet skills. Yes. Very good. Charlotte.
I'm getting too old.
I'm getting too old. So you're not young enough, are you?
No, I'm not.
That's what the belief is. All right. And basically, you know, I missed that boat.
Yeah.
I missed that boat, you know, and oh my gosh, if I don't get on the bandwagon, I'm going to miss it altogether. There's not going to even be another boat.
Yes.
All right. What else? Anybody else? Okay, Lisa, how about you personally? Anything about you're not enough of something?
Well, I put I'm not confident enough.
I'm not confident enough. And what would make you more confident?
That I've been trying to figure out for the last 5 years.
Okay, so you're lacking in your mind, you're not enough of something that creates insecurity or lack of confidence. Is that right?
Yes.
And maybe if you could find out what that thing is, and then you could fix it, and then you could be confident.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And Natalie, you had mentioned before about the education piece, right? Yes. Yeah, there's a lot of people who feel that. I have one of my clients is a extremely successful businessman, but he's Hispanic and he speaks wonderful English, but in his mind, he didn't go to college. He doesn't speak good English. He thinks people laugh at him. And so for him to be in his realm and to make money around the Hispanic community, he's extremely wealthy. But for him to step into other realms, then he's very insecure, right? And he just felt like nobody's going to believe him. Now, he's since worked on that, and now he's just like stepping big time into his dreams. But it is something that it's a hurdle that has to be overcome, doesn't it? Yeah.
Marianne, I just wrote one.
Is that? Susan.
The one I just wrote is very significant.
Go ahead.
I'm not thin enough to be rich.
Okay. That's good. Did you just, have you been pondering that a while, or did it just?
No, it just came to me. You know.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
It's like, you know, you have to be thin to be rich.
Okay, and I'm sure, and we're not going to bust these myths right now.
That's not really true. I mean, I even know
Of course it's not. But I'm glad you came up with it, and I'm sure you can you know many ample people, but that's not the point of this right now, right? Right now, it's like, what are the little voices inside telling us?
Well, there's Oprah. She's the richest one around, richest woman we know, and she's not thin enough to be rich either. So,
okay, now let me ask you this though: is there another disqualifying thing? Like if Oprah can be it, why can't I? Or is there some disqualifier, something about you that says, I'm not Oprah?
I'm not black either.
Okay. Well, there you go.
That's what makes up for being not thin.
Right. This is really kind of funny, isn't it? But we think these thoughts. Yeah, there's always something that disqualifies us in some way.
Well, and it's not, I'm not creative and savvy enough to scale what I do know how to do. I always have enough money.
Mm-hmm.
I always have enough, but just enough.
You rocked that red dress. It was almost distracting. Oh, I'm sorry. So that's not the point, though, is it? It's not the point of whether you have enough money or you don't have enough money. The point is that are there blocks, are there beliefs that are holding you back from full potential, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I don't belong in fancy, luxurious, extravagant places. I totally don't believe this anymore. But I did believe this because I actually decided, I made my family go to church in this little teeny town that had a little teeny tiny church with lots of little teeny tiny people who thought very, very simply. And because I had come from a world of highfalutin government, you know, being the prosecutor, I was up in the governmental circles. I was with hobnobbing with, you know, the people in Newport Beach with all the yachts. And because I turned up my nose at all of them because they were just greedy suckers, you know, I then valued these little teeny church mice people. And eventually what happened is that I became a little teeny church mouse person because you can't stand out and like luxurious things or stand out and want ambition or more for yourself when you're surrounded in that, because now you've just rocked the boat and people don't like that about you. And that's why I had to eventually move out of there in order to fulfill my dreams, you know? But I did have this belief at one time, and I had to go back and say, I know that you can have luxury and extravagance and still be a good person and not be greedy and not take advantage of people. But I hadn't gotten to that point yet of understanding that that's possible.
So Marian,
go ahead.
Do you think there's levels of that?
What do you mean?
Well, it's like there's levels of wealth that you feel like you can belong in, but then there's other levels that are way beyond where
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And I'm not advocating here that you have to be at the top of the heap, you know, I'm not saying that. There are levels. And I believe also in the whole idea of incremental gains, you know. What I think is important for us to look at is the amount of money that we're making giving us the lifestyle, the freedom, the generosity, the fulfillment that we are meant to have in this world, all right?
I just thought of another big thing.
Okay.
It's when I inherited that sum of money, it was like $500,000. Okay, so it wasn't huge amounts of money, but it's a significant amount of money.
Sure.
It became a responsibility.
Yes.
And it was a chore to take care of that money, to make it work for me. And I worked really hard to do that and wasn't really successful at it. So it's like, it's a big responsibility. So if you have a lot of money, it's like having another job.
It is. It really does. And then if you don't have success with it, it can go down to one of these other beliefs here. I don't trust myself with large amounts of money.
Right.
Okay.
It's
I
intimidating.
have had money, but I squandered it or I made poor decisions.
It's intimidating to have a lot of money.
It is. So therefore, there's a push-pull. On one hand, I want a lot of money, and on the other hand, I'm scared to have a lot of money. All right? Yes, that's a great point. Thank you. But I'm just going to quickly go through the rest of these. I shouldn't spend money on myself. That's a belief. First class is not for me. We already talked, I don't trust myself. Excuse me. 1 second. I've had money, but I squandered it. I'll lose my friends or family if I make more money. You know, there are a lot of women, especially, that are afraid of relationships, losing relationships if they make more money. If I make more money, others will want more from me. And I have a hard time saying no. I struggled with this a lot. So when we had, you know, a lot of money, I felt guilty having a lot of money that I didn't earn. And therefore, I gave a lot of money away. In order to make the money I desire, I have to do things that are not me or may violate my value system or, okay? So take a second here and feel if any of these resonate inside of you and write those down, because those can be things that we can address in tapping and working on, okay? All of these things will hold you back in some way. Okay. Carol has to go. Alrighty. If in the chats are open for everybody to read too, by the way. Alrighty. Okay, so does everybody remember about tapping? Okay, well, we're going to do this together. And let me just mention about tapping one more time. Okay, and I'm going to get rid of this. Everybody okay with the screen? Okay, I'm assuming so. All right. Stop share. Get back to you guys. Now I can see you all in larger life. All righty. So tapping, for those of you who may have forgotten, it is a process of clearing away negative beliefs. And even though you know that speaking negatively puts out negative energy and vibrations, this is actually diffusing it. When we tap, it's diffusing it. And it's based on our bodies having acupressure points that relate to the amygdala. The amygdala in our brain, Dee, you can't be seen. Dee wants to know why she can't be seen. There's a button down below that says video or stop video, and there's a video icon. You have to click on the video. All right? So the amygdala, when it's stimulated, some event happens, some thought comes upon us, and that thought can make us, and it makes us a little bit afraid or worried. It's going to make you do one of the 3 F's. Either you're going to want to fight, you know, put your dukes up. It's going to make you take flight. You're going to want to run away, or it's going to make you freeze. So whenever we get into a state of worry and fear or stress, one of those 3 reactions happen. Now, how well can we actually perform in life? How creative can we be if this happens to us? We want to freeze, we want to fight, or we want to flee away, right? Not very good. So in the amygdala, when we go through the tapping process, what we're doing is we're signaling to the amygdala that it's okay. I may have this fear, but it's okay. So the first round we go through, the first number of times we go through the tapping, and I'll lead you through this, it is negative words. It's expressing fears and beliefs that are negative or disempowering. And that's what we're doing, is we're telling our body, I'm not judging you for having this negative view. I'm not judging you for feeling afraid. You're not a wuss, all right? You're just, I accept you and I love you even as you are. Then we'll go through and we're going to reset with the positive, okay? All right, so the way it all starts is, and I'm going to treat you all like you don't know what I'm doing or you've never seen this before, but we start with the karate chop point of our hand. So everybody got that? Okay, the karate chop point of our hand. And we're going to like let our bodies know and our minds know or subconscious know that we're in fear about certain things regarding money, and it's okay. All right, so we might say something like, even though I'm afraid I'll never be wealthy, I still love, honor, and accept myself. Okay, everybody say that with me. Even though I'm afraid. Now, one other thing I want to tell you, if what I'm saying isn't your specific particular fear or belief, it's okay. All right, chances are you've heard it someplace and maybe it's taken a little bit of root inside you and you don't even know it. It's okay. Just say it and let it go. All right? Okay. So even though I have this fear that I'm never going to be wealthy, I completely and totally love, honor, and accept myself. Right? Even though I may not have the secrets to wealth, I completely and deeply love, honor, and accept myself. Okay? And one more. Even though I'm afraid and have wrong beliefs about money, I completely and deeply love, honor, and accept myself. All right? So now we're just letting your body be a little calm as we move forward. Now we're going to go through the different points, and I'll go through them one more time, and then I will do it with you. But it starts at the top of the head. You tap there, and then we tap above the eyebrow. Okay, everybody just follow along, and I'm not going to be saying things with it, but tap along at the top of the eyebrow, the temple, under our eye, under our nose, our chin, our collarbone, and then under our arm. It's a very interesting place. Okay? And we're going to go through, do some negatives, and just release, do some releasing. Okay? Hang on one second. There is. Okay. Starting at the top, everybody just follow me. And you can even, you can close your eyes while we do this and release as we're doing it, unless you have to watch me because you don't know the sequence. All right? Then that's fine. All right? It's way too hard to make money in this world. I earn what I earn, and that's all there is to it. There's a ceiling on how much money I can make. I feel too old to start over or do anything more. If I push on my business, people won't like me. Nobody can make the amount of money I make. Nobody can make the money I want to make doing what I do. It's too hard to make money in this economy. There's so much competition out there. I don't know if I got what it takes. To be rich, I'm going to have to violate my value system. To make more money, I'm going to have to do things I don't want to do. I hate being broke, but I'm out of ideas how to make it change. Guys just seem to have an easier time making money. Girls have to work so hard. I wish I didn't have to work so hard to get ahead. I'm already working hard. How much harder can I work? I never had the secrets to wealth. I was never taught the special keys. Everything's flying by me. I've already made so many mistakes already. I've already invested way too much money in programs. I've made poor decisions on investments. Sometimes I just feel disqualified. Or I'm not enough. I don't want people to not like me because I'm ambitious. I don't want people to turn away from me if I get too much money. Having so much money is such a great responsibility. I don't feel worthy of spending money on myself. I feel so guilty when I have more than others. I feel like I got to give money away in order to justify having it. Okay? Maybe it would be better to be rich and honorable, though. I don't have to be greedy. I don't have to be dishonest. Maybe it's possible for me to be lovely and rich and good and rich and kind. Maybe it's possible that I can stay exactly who I am and make the money I want to make and have the lifestyle I want to have. I'm open to new ways of money coming into me. I'm open to new ideas. I'm open to taking action I never took before. I'm open to all the abundance that God has for me. I love having money. I love what I could do with money. I love that I can be generous with others and make a difference in the world by having more money. I choose to make more money. I choose to bring in more money. I choose for money to come in from all different channels. I choose to learn how to be wise with money. I can be a good steward. I can be a blessing. I don't need to be afraid of how to spend money. I reject any judgment on me about money. I give myself freedom to experiment with money, to play with money, to enjoy money. I choose freedom. Everybody breathe. Does it feel less stressful?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I might not have hit everything, right? Which is just fine. So if there's something that I missed, we can go back and do it. All right. And we'll do the negative and then we can do the positive about that particular thing. All right. So why don't you take a minute just to think and just to digest. Let yourself absorb and think, is there a memory that came up for you? Because sometimes this brings up more things. Is there a memory that came up for you? Is there a belief that you want to expose and you want to release? Anybody? You think this was good for now?
This was good.
Who's that? Said that.
Jasmine.
Oh, Jasmine. Thank you. So Jasmine, what shifted for you?
I liked it when you said, I can be free to play with money, enjoy money. I love that part.
Great, thank you. Anyone else? Notice, I'm going to actually make everybody talk. Everybody's got to have to contribute here, right? Nobody's going to be let go or off the hook here, okay? Okay. Okay. How about you, Natalie?
I actually changed some of the words.
Okay.
So,
Great. Perfectly legitimate.
I like to be, I want to be proud of the money that comes in and honor the money that comes in and be happy when the money comes in.
Awesome. Okay, I'm going to get back to you about something in a minute, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, Lisa.
A lot of the people that my husband and I are friends with are retired teachers or retired from the school system, including us, and they have good retirements. So they kind of don't understand why I'm doing what I'm doing, because I don't need the money. So it's kind of, I feel like an oddball.
Okay. So making money for you, even trying to make money, puts you in the category of oddball. Right. Okay. And so did you get a chance to do anything? Was there anything you switched in do you want to go and do a round with that?
I probably would like to do a round with that.
Okay. Because that's a very common one, by the way. And what would you say your fear is? I'm afraid that.
I'm afraid that if I spend the time that I think I need to spend to get successful, that I will isolate myself from people, and that if I do get successful, that I might isolate people because I might feel like I'm leaving them behind.
Okay. And what do you think would be the positive of what you're doing?
I love helping people. I love what I do, and I get a lot of positive feedback from my clients.
And you're not ready to retire.
Correct. I'm not. I'm good. I like to work.
There is a lot of people. Isn't it amazing? It kind of baffles me too. Like a lot of people my age are just like, they can't wait till they can retire. But I also know a lot of people that are like, I would be so bored. It would be so boring. Okay. All right. We're going to run through this, and this will be pretty quick. All right. So, okay. Even though I'm afraid to isolate people, I completely and deeply love and accept myself. Even though I am an oddball, I completely and deeply love and accept myself.
I completely and deeply love and accept myself.
Even though my desires are different than my friends, I completely and deeply love and accept myself.
Even though my desires are different from my friends, I completely and deeply love myself.
All right. Making money makes me scared.
Making money makes me scared.
The amount of time I think it takes could lead to isolation.
The amount of time it takes leads to isolation.
My friends don't understand.
My
My
friends.
family doesn't understand.
I don't want to risk their rejection
I don't want to risk their rejection
or be alienated from people I love.
or be alienated from people I love.
I like being with my friends and my family,
I like being with my friends and my family,
but I feel so different.
but I do feel so different.
I don't share the same interests they have.
I don't share the same interests they have.
Don't share the same interests.
My passion to help others is too strong,
My passion to help others is
Too strong.
but alas, they don't understand.
but alas, they don't understand.
They might even talk about me.
They do
They
talk.
might even talk about me.
I hate it when people talk about me.
I hate when people talk.
I hate it when they look at me like I'm weird.
I hate it when they look at me.
When they look at me like I'm weird.
I don't like being different.
I don't like it.
I prefer to be accepted. I don't like any rejection. I don't like disapproval.
Disapproval.
But there seems to be no other way. I feel alone. Is there no hope for me? Okay, have we done enough with that?
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm going to go back and reset, but I just want you to take a breath. And you can do more of this, and more can come out as you do it on your own, right? Okay? Just breathe. All right, let's start with the positive. Back again. I know I have a purpose that needs to be fulfilled.
You know, I have a purpose that needs to be fulfilled.
And it's even a calling by God.
It's even a calling back.
And I can't go to the grave without fulfilling it.
Can't go to the grave without fulfilling it.
I love the difference I make in people's lives.
Difference I make in people's lives.
And they love the difference I make in their life. So while there are people who don't understand, there are other people who do. And there are other people who value what I do. And will even exchange what I do with money.
Yes, and they'll even pay me.
Money is just compensation, and it's like an appreciation letter to me. A piece of paper that says I am valid and worthwhile. I have to do this. And I choose today to trust God with my family, to trust God with my loved ones. And I just turn them over to Him and let them be taken well care of. I'm not responsible for their feelings or their happiness or their approval. I must listen to the voice within and do what I'm called to do and to prosper doing it. I am worthy. I am deserving. I am qualified. And I am open. Breathe. How did that feel, Lisa?
Ooh, heavy. hit on a lot of the things.
This, like I said, this may not be the only time. I mean, I hope it's not going to be the only time because these things do resurface, you know? So we'll do more tapping, but you can go back and listen to this,
Right.
watch this part again, you know, and practice it yourself. But yeah, sure. Okay. I unfortunately, let me see what time is it. We're going to have to, yeah, we're out of time here. So did you guys, can I just have from everybody one takeaway that you got for today, and then I'm going to give you your assignment, okay? Let me just unmute. I think everybody's okay. All right, let's have a takeaway.
So my takeaway is this: I totally deserve to receive the Publishers Clearinghouse checks they're going to bring me on June 30th.
Okay, I'm writing that down.
June 30th.
June 30th.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Susan. Anyone else?
I realize that the tapping is more of a it's a longer process. It's not always instantaneous, so I have to do it more often.
Right.
To consistently get some of that garbage out of the system.
Very good. Okay. Yeah. I think you can get some temporary relief, which is good. But I tap multiple times in a week. I don't tap every day, but I'll probably tap 3 or 4 times every morning before I even get going. You know, I want to stay as clear as possible of negative energy. I also journal, and I write love letters to God, and he tells me lovely things, and I can move forward in my day that way too, you know. Great. Thank you, Natalie. Charlotte.
I just like the fact that you are a very peaceful and positive person, and I thank you for being there.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Jasmine, how about you?
The tapping is clearing away a lot, and it's allowing me to be me.
Oh, very good. It's true. It does. Allows more of you to surface. Okay, great. Lisa.
That it's okay to pursue what I want to do and be successful at it.
And on one hand, you've always known that, but on the other hand, it feels deeper, doesn't it? Yeah. I think we know these things, but it helps to get rid of the resistance to the thing we know. Okay. D. Can you hear me, Dee? I don't see you, so I'm not sure you're there. Okay, maybe not. All right, so let me just let's go back here to the assignment for, if I can remember what it is. Okay. Okay, once again, everybody continue. If you haven't been tracking, that's okay. Start anew. All right, just start anew. And remember to celebrate. In that celebration, when you track, you get some abundance in. Celebrate. It could be just with taking a moment to just express gratitude. It could be like run around the table, whatever. Allow joy and love to just enter your heart. Again, asking God to enlighten your heart with revelation, new ideas. Practice the tapping. You can go back and watch the video. And then, what new beliefs will you nurture and take action on? All right, we're going to start with that next week. What new beliefs or what beliefs have you had that you've been working on and that you are deepening and taking action on? Okay? Any questions? Well, I appreciate you all showing up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I love you all.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, one thing I wanted to ask you guys, all right? This is just an invitation. Do not feel any pressure to this, but I am going to be at Rancho Palos Verde. Does anybody know where that is? Rancho Palos Verde? Okay, at the Terranea Resort, July 1st, 2nd, 3rd, July 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. I would love to have a one-day VIP day with a small group of you, 5 or 6 women. There's already a few people that are already going to be interested in that. And it's a mindset, spiritual shift morning, as well as a think tank where the women come together. There's only going to be 5 or 6 people max for this. So if you have any interest in that, you want some details on that, just private message me and I will let you know. So it's going to be for July 2nd. It's a Sunday, actually. It's a Sunday. So, and Monday is a holiday, July 3rd, and then the Tuesdays are July 4th. Okie dokie. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Let's see. All right. End meeting. We go.